Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo!
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. Have you heard recent claims that bone broth can help improve your immune system, improve digestion, relieve joint pain, detox the liver, improve your mental and behavioral health? Well, unfortunately, if you've heard these things, they're not backed by science. They are bogus claims, and although there may be some benefits, it really is not the magic superfood that the media claims it to be. The difference between bone broth and a regular traditional, say, chicken broth, is that the bone broth has been simmered in the water with the vegetables for at least a 24-hour period. And usually what they'll do is put like a vinegar to help get the minerals out of the bones into the broth and really kind of leach from the bones. Now, the thing about that is too many metals is actually dangerous, and we can't consume them in large quantities. Now, the bone broth that you're buying on the shelf, they're all different. Every single one is different. So we don't know exactly how much of those minerals you're getting. I can't say that all bone broth has the same amount of minerals in each different cup, like serving per cup. What I can say is that a cup of bone broth compared to a cup of regular broth usually has a little bit more protein. So if you are someone who lacks protein, or if you need help kind of reaching your protein requirements, then using that in your soups and stews or marinades, or, cooking your rice with it to give it some flavor. I know some people will sip on bone broth before they go to bed when they're not feeling like they really want to eat something and they're not actually hungry. They kind of just want to have something. Then you could, have the bone broth. My only concern is when people are consuming them in large quantities. I know that there are people out there, nutritionists, which I don't know if you're just new to the podcast, the term nutritionist is not a protected title, so anybody can call themselves that. There's nutritionists out there with practices, and they're claiming that bone broth is the cure-all, and you can't follow their plan unless you take the bone broth. Well, we all know that not everybody has the same needs, and not everybody has the same problems, and that there's never one food that makes or breaks the diet. So if anybody's claiming that you have to drink this in order to be healthy, then that's wrong, because there's 1,001 different ways in which we can be healthy. Now, if you are going to consume bone broth, what I would want you to do is just check the sodium content. Some of them have a lot of sodium, just like soup would and other broths would. So if you haven't listened to my salt episode all about salt, then you don't know the fact that if your salt is more than 140 milligrams per serving, is usually too high in salt. So next to the sodium content, next to the milligrams, there's the percent daily value. Anything close to 5% or less is considered a low sodium food, and anything 20% or more is considered a high sodium food. So when you're choosing your bone broth, try to get something that's within that 5% range, or 140 milligrams or less per serving. There are bone broths out there that only have about that 85 milligrams, which is a really good option. Also, read the ingredients if you're someone who wants to kind of avoid a lot of preservatives. Some of them are very simple, a simple ingredient list, and other bone broths have a very long laundry list of ingredients. And if you are consuming it because you heard it has a great source of calcium and magnesium or potassium, read the label, because it always depends on how long that broth was brewing and what vegetables was in the broth that it was being made. So it's going to vary brand to brand. What's the takeaway? The takeaway is that bone broth is not all it's claimed to be. However, it can fit in the diet if you'd like it to, but do not expect it to heal all of your ailments. If you are having issues with digestion or joint pain, seek a specialist, get a diagnosis, If your doctor tells you that you need to see a dietitian, reach out to a dietitian. If you have any other questions, you can send me an email to tipswithtony@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.